So let's get it back to the families and the teachers.
Yeah, and I saw this article, and I'm obviously keeping a close eye on what's going on here. But so the University of Alabama, which had planned for a face-to-face instruction in 80% of its classes, apparently did testing, and in just 1 week, 600 students had tested positive. And I get that there's a difference. That they tested positive doesn't mean that they're actually sick. No one's been, no one has died from this yet. What do you make about these numbers, though? That is kind of an alarming number in 1 week.
Yes, it is alarming, but here's other things that we're hearing on the ground. We were just talking about this yesterday. Some families I know went down to the local CVS or whatever to get a test. The line was so long they changed their mind, but they had already signed in. A couple weeks later, they receive a letter telling them that they're COVID positive. They never had a test. What's that all about? And I'm hearing those kind of stories over and over. And another thing, let's say 800 students did get it. Well, there's something called herd immunity. When you have a flu, a lot of people catch it. We know multiple young people in their 20s and under who have had COVID, very mild symptoms. None of them have died. None of them were even that sick. So they've caught the flu, basically. So this is part of life. And I'm really questioning the numbers out there. I think it's part of the manipulation and the fear mongering that the unions and their allies on the Democratic Party are doing to manipulate people and to cause people to fall to fear. So I think people just need to use common sense, and we need to educate our children.
Yeah, and I didn't hear that about that specific case that you're talking about. I would love to learn more about that, but I've definitely heard other examples of some things that just seemed a little off, especially when it came to coronavirus, including deaths at hospitals where family members say, oh, well, they didn't actually die from coronavirus. They died from something else. So why are they marked as a COVID patient, which is, very, very, very disturbing. And I wanted to ask you, you kind of talked about like school choice, charter and religious schools, and how they're operating during coronavirus. But there's also an issue because of coronavirus. They're starting to see that their budgets are being cut. And this is really going to affect children when it comes to school choice.
And that is a tragedy. And again, I believe that is another manipulation of the unions. The longer the unions can keep our schools closed and these private schools are unable to be funded, then all these private schools are going to close down, and all of these children are going to be forced back into these underperforming, dangerous public schools where, guess what? All the teachers are paying into the union, or most of the teachers. And so the unions will just make more money, and they'll be able to control more children with their agenda. They have pushed an anti-American, anti-family agenda into our schools, which is quite frightening. I've written about it extensively. And parents want to rescue their kids from that. Well, this is one way that they can force kids back into schools that these parents don't choose or that aren't right for these kids. Again, shame on them. We need to empower families. We need to do whatever we can to get kids into the schools that are right for them. And, President Trump does have an education freedom scholarship program that he's trying to get passed. And I hope that he does, because that will give more power to these private schools, home schools, families who want to learn online. It just gives options. Whatever families want, that's what families should get.
Absolutely. I agree with you. The children and families should have more options, but the left doesn't seem to want that. Anyways, Rebecca, we're going to have to leave it here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.